Hi, my name is Raquel. In order to buy or sell, you have to have the money of the beast on your mind or in your hand. It's one of those words that's not translated correctly. And I'm trying to get this up on the Wikipedia, so if you know how to edit Wikipedia, go to Number of the Beast and look at the discussion there. And I just don't know how to do that. No one buys or sells without the money, Charagma of the Beast, on your mind or in your hand. And then here's the Greek-English lexicon by Liddell and Scott. It's a really big book, about that thick. Actually, it comes in 2 volumes. And you can see here the definition means the impress on coin, or the second definition is stamp money coin. And these people, Antipater, Thessalonius, and Plutarch, were writers at about the same time that the Book of Revelations was written, and so like the mark of the beast is money. No one buys or sells without the money of the beast on your mind or your hand. Let me turn this down a little bit. Oh gosh, what's the latest news with Natalie doing? I have to lead with this, but I've got a lot to tell you about. Not so much, too much about her, but here she is. We're best friends on MySpace, and I've been encouraging her. She's a 22-year-old virgin, and I'm trying to encourage her to go through with this. She was going to sell herself at a brothel in Nevada, and the bidding is all the way up to $3.8 million. And she was interviewed like last week, and she said that she's like in contact with this guy in Australia. And from what I've read before, the guy in Australia is the one who's offering the $3.8 million. So I'm not too sure really now if there is a porn deal involved. I think, you know, for that kind of money, the guy's going to want to get his money back. I mean, what kind of guy's going to pay $3.8 million to have sex with somebody, unless, you know, he's got an agenda himself, like maybe he's got a message he wants to get out, who knows, you know, or maybe he's going to be commercially tattooed with something. I've told Natalie she should get 666's money tattooed prominently on her body, so that if she does do a porno, then she can advertise the mark of the beast. You know, no one buys or sells without the money of the beast. But I've also told Natalie that, like, she's going to be in Hustler. That's the latest announcement. They're going to interview her, a person named Keith, in Hustler. So I think that it would also be a really good opportunity for her to finally prove that she's a virgin. And they have really good photographers there, and they can take a picture of her hymen, you know, and then everybody can see that she's a virgin. Hymen pictures are really rare on the internet. And like a month ago, I asked Natalie, I told her, look, I only live 6 hours away. She lives in San Diego. I told her I'd go to San Diego and take a picture, you know, of her. And then, like, if I put 666's money on there and put it up on the internet, it would, like, I brand my name on there, you know, like, let me see if I got an example here. Oh yes, here I do. You see, I'd put like 666's money on the hymen picture, and that way everybody would be able to realize the truth. That'll set us free. I mean, everybody's a slave for money. Everybody prostitutes their bodies or their minds for money, you know, and so there's really not that much difference in having sex for money. I mean, it's not much different than shaking hands. And I'm not too sure if she's going to require the person to have a condom or not. I think she said she was, but when she's going to be interviewed for Hustler, I'm sure it's one of the questions they're going to ask, because most guys, you know, especially in porno, they don't want to use condoms. And like when guys use them with me, they tend to come off, you know, if you're, and it causes a lot of trouble, you know. It's, you know, if you need to prevent disease, you know, and then you certainly don't want to get pregnant, but I don't have that problem about getting pregnant. So, like, you know, she could make a lot of money off of this hymen picture, you know. That's a very rare thing on the internet. There's not too many virgins willing to expose themselves like that. And not only that, but, like, if the girl's under 18, you can probably get in trouble for child pornography. So, like, you know, it's not, it's a very rare thing. There's a few pictures up there I've seen. But, you know, she should, I mean, like, there's that joke that they say, you know, how much will you have sex for? And the guy will say $100, and she'll say no, and then you know, it's like $1 million, yes, you know, and Natalie's being offered $3.8 million. And then she has a lot of $1 million offers too. And, but she said she's in conversation with a guy in Australia. And the last I heard was that I think he's a 38-year-old real estate man who's interested in taking Natalie's virginity at the Bunny Ranch brothel, and it's outside of Carson City in Nevada. Oh, let's see, I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. I got like, this was yesterday, I got this in the mail. It's like a one-page, one-sentence dismissal of my, oh, this guy's trying to steal this vacant lot worth about $300,000, or not $300,000, $30,000 from me. And he's lied in court, and I never got a fair trial. So I'm going to have to go to the Supreme Court of Arizona, and I think that's where this proper jurisdiction is, because it's all about these rules, and the Supreme Court passes the rules, and the rules aren't law, and the rules are supposed to be liberally construed for the sake of justice. But they're saying I didn't file my appeal in time, but like I found these court cases that said that if your motion is actually a motion for, what is it, Rule 59 and 52B, then you'll get away with it. So I've got to go to the courthouse, or not, I'm going to go to the law library and look up this court case and see what they're trying to tell me. I wasn't sure what the appealable issue was. But anyway, oh, this guy on TV today, well, Natalie Dillon was interviewed by him. What the heck was his name? Gosh, he was with Bill O'Reilly on there. But anyway, he said that he was going to, he's going to build a bomb shelter. This is one of these talk show radio guys. He's on TV now. And he was being interviewed by Bill O'Reilly, who said that he's building a bomb shelter and he's stocking it up with food. And he didn't say he was getting AK-47s. I think he denied that, but I mean, I wouldn't mind getting one. I mean, I really think that this is the end, you know. It's like Jesus Christ said, and when money becomes a thing of the past, then, you know, it's Jesus Christ said you can't serve God or money. You'll either love the one or hate the other, or hold to the one and despise the other. But if you look at the whole thing here in context, and that's what you have to do with this mark of the beast, it's the Jews revolted against Rome in 66 AD and started coining their own money, and that's about the same time that the book of Revelations was written. And then Nero's picture was on all the money. So if you take the Hebrew letters for Nero's name, and A equals 1 and B equals 2 and like that, then it'll spell Nero. And Nero was the emperor at the time that the Jews revolted. There's not really much doubt that the number of the beast is Nero, but like you have to put it all in context. And that's what I want somebody to do on Wiki. I want you to go to Wiki and you can type in Mark of the Beast and it'll redirect you to the number of the beast. And in the discussion page, you'll see what I want done. They're like, the first paragraph defines what the charagma is. And the charagma, it means money. I just showed it to you. So I provided a link there, if it's still there. And I just need somebody to put a reference. You know, I don't know how to do the HTML, so if any one of you guys out there can help me out, let me know. And there's another person on there, I don't know where he is, but he was trying to help me out, but they censor it, and this guy even mentioned it in the discussion that, you know, they don't want this truth to get out. You know, they killed Tyndall, you know, the guy who first translated the Bible from Latin into English, because, you know, they don't want the people to realize. You know, when I first read the 4 Gospels, I was like, unbelievable. You know, I couldn't believe my friend was in the Marine Corps and they gave him one of these little Bibles, you know, so I looked through it and, well, actually, I don't remember what the whole thing was, but when I found out that they give all the soldiers over there Bibles, you know, New Testaments, I thought, wow, that's pretty radical, you know, because Jesus Christ upset the tables of the money changers, and he called all the religious people of the time hypocrites and bigots. They were irrational, obstinate, and illogical. Jesus Christ was the logos or logic of God. And that's another one of these words that's not translated correctly. And you can see the etymologies here. That logos is the word in John 1:1, but it rarely means word. That's what it says here. These were etymological dictionaries, and I don't have the source, but I don't remember where I found this. Was it the university library or what? But see, it means logic, and like the truth will never die, the truth will rise again. And I don't believe Jesus walked on water or turned water into wine. These are all metaphors, and of course Christ isn't going to come back in the clouds, you know, and rapture everybody up. That's total fantasy. It's fairy tale, pie in the sky stuff, you know. And the whole problem with the church today is this guy named St. Paul, and Thomas Jefferson was the same way about it. Thomas Jefferson knew Greek and he knew Latin, and he was interested in the New Testament, and he compiled his own little Bible, his own little New Testament. And I looked at it once, I don't remember, but the words of Jesus Christ are very wise, and there's not that much to it, you know. I mean, like, a couple of my friends joined this Hare Krishna movement, and like they were brainwashed. I felt like, you know, this wasn't the person that I knew in high school, and like they totally brainwashed him in there. Oh, and I found out like this L. Ron Hubbard guy is totally weird. I couldn't believe it, and he had all these young girls around him, but he never had sex with them. But he did have sex with this one, and she wrote this story about it. It was totally weird. She said that, like, well, I don't know if I can say this on TV, but like if you, I've got like I dug this up, you know, the site called Dig. If you type in L. Ron Hubbard, Aleister Crowley, and weird sex, those 3 key words, you'll find it. And it's such a strange thing. This guy, he was like, L. Ron Hubbard he was really into drugs back in the 70s, and he had this yacht in the Mediterranean, and they said that he had just about every kind of drug you could think of, except they didn't mention LSD. They mentioned peyote, I think, but they didn't mention LSD. And so yeah, it's so strange, this cult. Not only that, but L. Ron Hubbard was some kind of an intelligence agent, like maybe in the CIA, and I think that he was selling secrets to the KGB, or he was like an in-between, you know, like a courier or something. But he was a very strange person, and his son totally turned against him. But anyway, you know, they've got so many followers. You know, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman was sucked into it for a while, but L. Ron Hubbard's son just really has nothing good to say about this Scientology religion, and the religion's banned in Germany, and for good reason. It seems like they're psychos, you know. It's like my friend Jennifer had found this CD about this, you know, it's kind of like a recruiting CD, and so we watched it the other day. And they have this, you know, life is bliss. It's kind of like the Hare Krishna people, you know, ignorance is bliss. It's like, you know, if I don't go to the post office, I'm happy. I hate going to the post office because I get these messages, you know, from the courts that I've been screwed. And I tell you, this kind of screwing that they do in the courts is much worse than any kind of bad sex I've ever had in my whole life. Because you can get over the sex in a couple of days, you know, and take a bath and everything. But like this courtroom rape, or whatever you want to call it, is ongoing, you know. And I do have hope that I can win this in the Supreme Court. That's where it belonged in the first place, because I don't believe the Court of Appeals has the power to overturn any judgments of the Supreme Court. And since my appeal is based on these stupid rules that the Supreme Court made, then they're the ones that are going to have to decide this. And it's not the first time. I've appealed to the Supreme Court once before, and I lost. And actually, I think I did it twice. And then I even went to the United States Supreme Court, when I got flunked from Pima College, but I'm glad I did. I scored really good on all the tests, but they didn't want me in the nursing program. I'm glad they kicked me out. It's not what I wanted to do, and I made a lot of money in this tax lien business. In fact, this tax lien sale starts Saturday, so I'll just show you the kind of lists that I make. I've got this computer program that I devised so I can pick out good properties, and then I check them all out. I don't really have too many I want to buy. I've been so busy with a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's what I'm going to be doing next week, is going to these tax lien sales down at the, it's going to be in the Board of Supervisors room. All right, let's see. I'm going to go to this first. This expert in climate change says that there's a 30% chance that Lake Powell, Lake Mead will both go dry by 2050. But then there was another report that said it would go dry in 2021. And if you go to my photographs, and I've got, like, every year I go by Hoover Dam on my way back from the Burning Man Festival, and I like to take a picture around September. So for the past, I think I've got like pictures from the past 3 years showing how the water's been going down and down and down, and Las Vegas has to put their well deeper because they get their water from there, 90% of the water. And like they're going to have to spend like $2 billion to do it. All right, let's just go through these articles pretty quick here. This is some kind of a thing you're building in, I think this Dwabi in the United Arab Emirates or something, but it's all artificial land that they put there, and it doesn't look like it's too far off the ground, I mean, with global warming and everything, it's fool's paradise. I'm not kidding. This is like the biggest foolish paradise I've ever seen. I just don't know why people want to go there. It's maybe the Florida of Europe or something, and they have a lot of shopping malls. It's Babylon, Babylon is a city of commerce and confusion, and that's exactly what New York City is. It's a city of commerce. They worship money 5 days a week in the banks, and that's what that guy was saying on Bill O'Reilly's show. He says he believes that the banks are going to collapse, and like maybe over this weekend they're going to seize a couple banks and like socialize them, and then all the stockholders in the bank are going to lose all their money, but it's only like worth $3 a share anyway, and so I don't know. I mean, everybody's lost money, and so I mean, nobody is really immune to it. Oh gosh, yes, that's the truth. Anyway, here was a really good article in the Tucson Weekly. Hardly ever. And this was such a good article that I buzzed it up and put it on Facebook and everything. It's an article by Tom Dehaney, Danny, about the speculation on the oil, and that's what drove up the price, and it had to do with derivatives. And so, like, that's one of the main problems that's causing this, and nobody's talking about it. They're trying to blame it on Fannie and Freddie and irresponsible home buyers, but that's not the reason why we're in this big trouble. It's because of these derivatives. And this is a pretty good article in the February 12th Tucson Weekly. And this is what I keep saying to everybody, trying to get this word out. This was an article on the front page of the New York Times about the Greenspan legacy. It was October 9th, 2008. And I put this up on my photographs if you want to see it. It's the most important thing. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It shows here that there's $531 trillion worth of derivatives. But that's kind of like a nominal amount. I guess, it's like leveraged, it's like maybe they only put up 10% of the money, but these banks it's like insurance, and these banks are making payments. And I just don't know why they just can't tear these things up. Lyndon LaRouche has been saying we should just tear these derivatives up, and he warned about it. Like you can see here, but in the year 2002, there was only 106 trillion. But And this happened under Clinton's administration when this all changed. And Bill Clinton was on the Larry King Live, and he's been on the news lately, and he's mentioned this, he's talked about it. It was like in the final days of his presidency, just before Christmas, Congress was out, and they plopped this 1,000-page bill on Bill Clinton's desk for him to sign before he celebrated Christmas. And buried deep down in there is this thing that allowed the commodity, it was called the Commodity Futures Modernization Act. And if you Google, I tell you what you got to do to find all this stuff. And I've got a really good thing on my photographs site. If you go to my photos, all you got to do is Google $531 trillion. Leave the 2 out, right? And that's how you can find this information about this derivative stuff. And nobody's talking about it, you know. And it's funny money stuff, you know, like where did all this money go? It's like follow the money, you know, where did it go, and where is it going? Where's all this money going that we're printing up and giving to these banks? It's going to the executives, or is it going to these derivative holders? You know, it's like gambling, and that's what they used to call it. It's like off-track betting. Wall Street is just like off-track betting. It's just gambling. It's money manipulation, and Jesus Christ upset the tables of the money changers, and that's what we have to do. I'm telling you, you know, there's been so many famous people that believe in eliminating money. It's one of the, like, oh gosh, well, Karl Marx did, but, you know, a lot of people, he's been slandered. Anybody who believes in eliminating money gets demonized and slandered. Like Pol Pot believed in eliminating money, and so they made him look like a demon, a devil. Same with Muammar Gaddafi, the populist leader of Libya, believes in eliminating money. And Fidel Castro believes in eliminating money. And I've never really actually been able to find a direct quote from Fidel Castro. Like I know a little bit of Spanish, so, you know, I've been to the university library trying to find in his speeches where he talked about eliminating money, but I never found any. But my source for this was, I think it was Jerry Rubin, who wrote a book called Do It. And it was he was a hippie, you know, back in the 60s. And he was like trying to influence John Lennon to be more radical than he was. And that's kind of what I want NATALIE Dillon to do. I kind of want her to be radical, you know, and try to save the world. I mean, she's got all this worldwide publicity. She could, you know, like I said, if she had 666's money tattooed on her, then all this information would get out about the problems that this world's facing, and there's really no solution except to eliminate money. Like, there's plenty of everything to go around. We can live on corn and soybeans, and then we can, you know, we need to stop eating meat. Meat is a waste of resources. I don't know, it's like half the farmers in the United States are involved in the meat production. You know, there's not that many people that make vegetables, and most of the corn you see grown goes to pigs and to cows to fatten them up. But like, people can eat that. You know, in Mexico they eat tortillas made of corn, and in Africa they eat corn, or they eat sorghum, which is like corn. It looks similar to corn, but and it tastes similar. I've eaten sorghum before. I used to buy these 50-pound bags at the feed store, and sometimes the corn would have mold in it, and I've told you this before, this aflatoxin mold. And you don't want to eat those, you throw those away, but like sometimes the corn in Arizona is just like full of it, you know. I guess the way it dried or something causes it. So you end up having, it was so bad a couple times that I ended up getting the sorghum because it didn't have it in there. But sorghum isn't as nutritious as the corn. The corn has like natural oil, and it also has vitamin A, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, vitamin A. The dried corn, and I get a corn grinder and grind it up. So like, if NATALIE Dillon would, I mean, you know, I'm trying to encourage her to be like Yoko Ono, you know, and be radical, you know, use this publicity. She wants to do something good with this publicity, and I think we can save the world. I need to hook up with somebody rich and famous to get this message out. I mean, she's not rich, but I mean, but, well, she will be, but, you know, I mean, you know, you can use that money to buy advertisements. Like, we could buy a little advertisement in the New York Times and put it in there and tell the people the truth, you know, that we've been lied to. You know, the CIA killed John Kennedy. I mean, why are we in Afghanistan, for one thing? It seems like one of the most stupidest things. Like, it's all because of the heroin there. That's what it is. They've never had any more heroin than now. It's been like so much, and that's what we're there for. When we lost the Golden Triangle in Vietnam, we needed another place for this heroin, and there's a lot of money in it. You know, there's well, this underground economy, and not only that, but the heroin keeps people stupefied. Heroin is an opiate, and like Karl Marx says, religion is an opiate of the masses, and like opiates are stupefiers, and that's what this religion does. It stupefies people. It turns them into like robots and zombies. I mean, have you ever been approached by one of these Jesus freaks that tells you that you must confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ has risen from the dead and you'll be saved? And you can tell that these people are nuts, you know, that tell you this stuff. And same with the Hare Krishna people. You can tell they're nuts. And you can tell these Scientologists are nuts. And you don't run into too many Jews that try to proselytize. And the Muslims are totally whacked. You know, I had a Muslim moderator, I guess you'd call him, for my group discussions when I got my DUI. I had to go to these stupid classes. And this guy was whacked, man. You know, he was from Kenya. And he has this kind of like blissful optimism, you know, like God will provide, you know, and everything like that. I mean, I believe that too, but, you know, you've got to plan and, you know, be prepared, like the Boy Scout motto, you know, be prepared. And you can't be blind to the signs of the times. That's what Jesus Christ said. If these people are blind to the signs of the times, it's like, I don't know why anybody would want to bring children to this world. It's just so screwed up. And like the population of the world has just gone crazy. It just can't go on like this. Like when my dad was born, you can see here, let's see here, 1946. He was born before that. But like there was 2 billion people in the world then, and then it doubled sometime in the, maybe in the 90s or in the 80s. But like it's gonna jump up to 9 billion in 2032. And you can see that this is just like impossible. It's called geometric progression, and it's just like, here's the way it's been steady like this. There's 1492 right there, and there's 1776. It didn't, they say it got to 1 billion in like 1776, and then it just, that's in the world, you see. But like, and then this was probably the golden age, you know, right after World War II was the golden age in the world. And everybody had big cars, and they had their lovely lawns, and their suburban houses, and the union job, and the woman didn't have to go to work. She could stay home and take care of the children and make lunches for them when they come home from school and watch over the children. So that, like, I heard on TV today that like there was this, I don't know, was it a 13-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl or something, and they made like a sex video, and it got up all over the internet, you know, and so, you know, that's what these kids do in their spare time when they don't have anything to do, is they fool around like that. And I just, you know, there was this girl on the internet who's about to lose her virginity. She wants this guy to take it from her, and I wrote back and I said, you know, it's kind of sad because, you know, she's probably thinking that she wants to join in all the fun, you know, but, you know, it's not that easy to lose your virginity. I mean, I never really lost mine, you know. I mean, I was like a male virgin until I had my sex change. And, you know, I'd have all these pretty girls, but it was just never really in my heart to have sex with them because I wasn't in love, you know, and there wasn't any passion there. And that's what you need to have, is this passion. And I know I still have it, and I know I still have love. It's like with this Natalie Dillon, it's so crazy. I mean, she's an internet friend that showed a little attention to me, and I immediately fell into love with her. But, you know, because we have a lot of similarities. Like, she's into virginity, and she's going to be the spokesperson, or she was approached to be the spokesperson for female genital mutilation, or what they call female circumcision, is when they cut off the clitoris. And this is the Muslim practice. They do this in Africa, and it's barbaric, you know. It's a rite of passage for the women. They don't want the women to have any fun or to enjoy themselves, you know. They have to be mutilated. And so, I mean, that's one of my big causes. I have a web page on my website about this, and so, you know, I mean, and I was telling Natalie that, like, in the latest issue of World Watch, there's a good article. My older sister's written stories for this magazine in regards to the oil situation, you know, the energy crisis. And my older sister doesn't have much hope, you know. She is an expert on this hydrogen stuff, you know. I mean, I used to think that hydrogen was the answer, but it's just not gonna be online fast enough. I mean, maybe if we had like a Manhattan Project to get it online, but you know, we need this oil for so much other stuff besides running cars. We need it for fertilizer and making plastics and all kinds of stuff that won't be around, you know. It's a finite resource. It was created as a fossil fuel, you know, and so it's not going to be there much longer, and that's the whole problem with the world today, is there's just no real plan. It's just like total anarchy, and that's what, like, Alan Greenspan was, a laissez-faire capitalist who didn't believe in any government control. In fact, he idolized this woman named Ayn Rand, who was like an ultra-libertarian Russian woman, and she wrote a book called Atlas Shrugged. And somebody sent into my show, they sent an email to me, and I didn't know it was Ayn Rand. I thought it was just this guy typed this up, and I thought, wow, this is pretty good. This guy's put a lot of effort and energy into this. So I answered it point by point, and I put it up on my website too. So if any of you people are Ayn Rand fans, I mean, I don't see how anybody could after what Alan Greenspan did. And that's what Clinton said too on Larry King, is that, like, he never would have allowed this derivatives market to go unregulated. But, like, you know, Alan Greenspan had so much pull, and everybody thought he was God. In fact, that's what this picture says here, that Alan Greenspan is going to save the world, the committee to save the world. This was in Time magazine. And Time magazine is so bad. Somebody brought this to my attention that the latest Time magazine has 25 people that were the cause of this financial problem, but there's really not that many. There's, like, Alan Greenspan is the #1 culprit, and it doesn't have anything to do with this Fannie and Freddie stuff. That's a sideshow, and Barney Frank doesn't have anything to do with it either. It's a sideshow. The real issue is this derivatives market, where all this money went, and they sucked out, like, pension funds invested in these things, and they didn't understand what they were. They just offered them a lot of interest, you know, and everybody thought. But there was this show I saw. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was just recently too, and I made a comment about it, and they mentioned that, like, one of these Wall Street money changers was saying, yeah, you know, we thought that the house values would continue to increase 7 to 8% a year, or was it 6 to 7% a year, indefinitely, you know. And I kind of, you know, wondered if that was true myself back when this thing was going on. And there's a really, I don't have that with me, but I should bring it in next time, but it's on my photos. It shows, like, the value of houses, the housing values, and it stays around. I guess, you know, we'll just say it stays around 100. You know, that's the average. But it just, like in the year 2000, prices of houses just incredibly shot up, and it's just crazy thinking to think that. And like today, the price of gold went up to like $1,000. But you know, you can't eat gold. You know, I mean, I don't know. I really think that we're heading for like a Mad Max movie, and everybody should get like a corn grinder and stock up on salt and vitamin C. You know, and that's what's going to be valuable. I mean, when gold isn't going to be valuable, I mean, you'd be better off getting a kilo of Coke or something, you know, or a bunch of bottles of wine or vodka, you know, and that would be more valuable than gold. I mean, you can't eat gold, but like, all we need really to do is, and Janet Napolitano is the head of the Homeland Security, and I need to go talk to her. One of my friends, I've known some legislators here in town that knew Janet Napolitano very well. They used to have lunch with her, so I'm going to ask them to try to set me up with her. And I was in Washington, D.C. like 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, and no, it wasn't 30 years ago, but like when I was there, I was eating corn and soybeans. And so I don't remember what the agency was back then. Maybe it was FEMA. And I went in there and talked to one of the big shots, and I told him, look, you know, I just want to tell you this, that it's possible to live on corn and soybeans and salt with vitamin C. And I've been doing it for a year, and you know, look how healthy and happy I am. You know, it's the breakfast of champions, I was telling him. And so I just told him, look, you know, call me crazy or nuts or whatever, but I just want you to know that, you know, people can live on this and survive and thrive. So I know that, like, if it really gets bad, all I have to do is make it to the Midwest where they have all these grain silos. But it won't be that easy if it's in the winter. And not only that, it won't be that easy if it's in the summer either, because here in Tucson you have to cross that big desert. You got to go through New Mexico, and half of Texas is like desert. But Texas has sorghum. You'll get your sorghum, but there's no soybeans, not many soybeans there. Well, anyway, here's what I told Natalie Dillon. You know, I told her that if a woman waited till she was 30 to have babies, then there would be 1/3 less children over 3 generations. So, you know, and I don't, you know, I mean, I don't really know about this woman, Nadia Suleiman. You know, her father was on. She's going to be on Oprah Winfrey Show Tuesday, but like this girl had like 8 embryos implanted in her, and she had all these babies, and I hear that it's going to cost the state of California like $10 million. Geraldo Rivera was on the Bill O'Reilly show, and Geraldo was saying that he's convinced that this woman was doing this just for the money. She knew that, you know, she'd get all these handouts and publicity. Somebody might have told her this, or maybe the doctor did, you know. I mean, having octuplets is a very rare thing, you know. I don't think there's only been one other that has, and it never survived. And so it's kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein thing, what this doctor did to her. And, you know, she already had 7 kids. What does she need 8 more for? So, I don't know if somebody put her up to this or what, but apparently she and her dad believe that God will provide, you know, and that's foolishness. You know, you can't tempt God to provide for you. You've got to look out for yourself. It's like, you know, the devil took Jesus Christ up on a pinnacle and told him to jump off this cliff, you know. If you're the Son of God, you know, God will protect you and all this. And Jesus Christ said, no, I don't want to tempt God, you know. It's not the kind of thing I want to do. So you can't tempt God to take care of you. You've got to take care of yourself. And lately I haven't been doing that much, taking care of myself. I've been drinking and smoking, and I don't exercise anymore. I've kind of given up hope. Like, oh, I don't remember when I quit. Maybe it was like 2 years ago that I quit running. I used to run 4 miles a day, and I could run to the top of the mountain. I could do like an a 13-mile marathon up to the top of Micah Mountain and Manning Camp. You know, I'd get up early Saturday morning and I'd drop a hit of LSD. I like to take acid and go on these marathon runs. And they have a lot of famous people that have taken LSD. Like they had that guy who did that no-hitter, that baseball guy. He said he was high on LSD. And Bernard Crick and Watson, the guys who discovered the double helix, they experimented with LSD. And that guy, Steve Jobs, I think maybe. I don't want to slander anybody, but and Bill Gates took acid. He said that he did. He experimented with it. I think that anybody, you don't have to do it that much, you know, a couple trips and you'll learn your lesson, you know. It's like what LSD does, it like shows you reality, you know. It like, you wonder, when you sit there and wonder why are these, it's like a rat race, you know. When you take this LSD and you sit back and look at everything going on, and you watch TV and you watch all this stupid stuff going on around you, it's like Timothy Leary said, you know, tune in, turn on, and drop out. You know, you drop out of this Babylonian money system, you know, this slave system. And like, all my life I never really joined the slave system. I've always been like, I chose homelessness, living in my van, rather than, you know, pay a landlord or work as a slave to a company. And I really resented it. Like when I worked on the Burlington Northern Railroad for the summer, I made a lot of money, but like I really resented it. One day I was like a Gandhi dancer. I worked putting in this ribbon rail. I think it was 182-pound ribbon rail, quarter-mile lengths, and I was a spiker, and I'd set the spikes in there, and then this pneumatic hammer would drive the spikes in. And so saved up a lot of money, but like one day I remember they told us to get off the tracks, you know, the big shot from, where is it, Burlington Northern was coming through, you know. So, you know, he had like a special coach at the end. I don't know if it was a special train too or what, but for some reason or other this CEO of the Burlington Northern Railroad was traveling by train cross country, and we had to get out of his way. And like, oh gosh, you know, ever since that day I remember I was like resenting it. You know, these people on Wall Street were making money off the sweat of my labor. In fact, there's a funny story here. Like there was this Native American girl there, and she was sleeping with everybody, but so that like the next day she didn't get up for work or something, or she wasn't really putting out enough work, and the boss told her, he says to her, look, he says, you can do all that work at night, but you can't work today, so you're out of here, you know. And then there was another funny girl on the railroad. She was a virgin, you know, and she liked me, and but I wasn't interested, and so like she picked the worst guy on the railroad to have sex with, and I, you know, oh gosh, I knew the next day, and eventually she just quit. She quit, you know, and because you know, after she lost her virginity, I wasn't, you know, she had a really nice personality, and that's what I've been saying to Natalie Dillon. I've been saying, you know, aren't you worried about your personality changing? Because most of the people I've talked to, and I ask these questions too of young people today, is do you notice in your friends or in yourself or in your family, you know, your sisters or anything, did you notice their personality changed after they lost their virginity? And I had like an older lady friend. She used to be a nun. This was back in high school, and she was maybe like, oh, I don't know, 10 years older than us at least. And my buddy, my friend, finally ended up popping her cherry, and I really liked the woman, but like after that she was really hostile, and she resented me, and she eventually left town, you know, and you know, she her personality changed. But you know, I mean, a lot of these girls will lose their virginity in the backseat of a car, or some guy will tell them they love them, or they're just in a hurry to join the fun. But it's really no fun if you're not in love. I'm not kidding. I've kind of learned that the hard way. But you know, I mean, I'm not quite built like all the other girls are, so I don't really enjoy it. I never had an orgasm through sex, you know, and so it's just pleasing the guys is what it really boils down to. And I got tired of it, you know. Why bother, you know? Especially if you're not getting paid for it. Like one of these girls on MySpace said, if the best way to get laid is to get paid, you know. And so, like, in the Daily Wildcat today, they had an article about NATALIE Dillon, and I got up like at 3:30 this morning. I couldn't sleep. I got to bed early and woke up early, but like I was the first one to comment on there. I'm not sure if my comment's still there, but like anyway, I told, you know, I've been like a casual prostitute if it's convenient, you know, I mean, but like it's been a long time, you know, and it's not really that convenient. Like I don't make house calls, you know. But like, you know, I mean, some places, like one time I was at the beach and this guy offered me some money, and I says, okay, you know, what the heck, you know. And sometimes like when I was in a bar, this guy offered me some money, and I says, okay. And this is kind of funny because like the guy wanted to go to his van, but and he was so excited too, and he pulled out a huge wad of money. I don't know where he got this from. And he let me take the money. He said, come on, you just take the money out of there. And I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but I was honest, and you know. So I told him I'm going to go to my car and get a condom, and when I got back, the guy was passed out in the back. And so I could have taken that whole roll of money, but I didn't. I just kept the I kept the money and locked him in there and had a good night, you know. So that's not the only time I've taken money. I got ripped off one time too. I was in Vegas, and this guy in the lobby said, you know, what the heck, you know. So I said, okay. He showed me these chips, you know, and stupid me, I don't gamble. He asked me, do you gamble? And I said, no, I don't gamble. But you know, I should have looked at the chips and seen what they look like. So he takes me up to my room. I go up to my room, and he gives me one of these chips, and I just saw, you know, what it was said on there, and I thought, oh wow, you know, cool. But then I realized this is, you know, the next day I realized, oh, this has got to be too good to be true, you know. And sure enough, stupid me, I ended up. But you know, I get over that kind of stuff. You can get over that, but like when you got a lawyer that's lying and doesn't try to correct himself. I've told him he's a liar. In fact, I've said it on the show, but I don't want to use his name. But like, I mean, if anybody called me a liar, I'd want to correct it. I mean, if this guy was honorable, he would dismiss this case, because I'm going to go to my death calling this guy a liar, and I got screwed, and I never got a fair shake. You know, I submitted all these interrogatories and requests for information, and he never provided it. He said I could have found out the name of these heirs by going to the city building department, and I did that, and I couldn't find them. And I spoke to big shots in the city, and they told me, oh no, we don't keep these records anymore. And he told me that the reason that the lien was released was because it expired, you know. And so like you know, I mean, this guy should, if he's, you know, an honorable person, he should dismiss this case and let me keep this property. Or maybe I'll work out a deal where we'll split it with the heir, you know. I mean, I'm open to that, but like, I don't believe that you should lie and cheat and steal to get anything, you know. It's like NATALIE Dillon isn't lying or cheating or stealing. She's just offering a service, just like everybody else does. Anyway, this is my sister's music. I have no idea what it is. She gave me, it's actually my sister and brother-in-law's, and it's kind of like my Christmas present, and they downloaded all their iTunes on there. It's like Oh gosh, it's like 100 gigabytes of music on there. And it's all this ambient music and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, God bless, peace and love, you know, and go to my website and change that thing in Wiki for me, okay? Go to the, bye.